about that in the writer collectives, but I think some will be out of work also.
But if you compare it to like music generation, I mean, you can use AI to do music, really good. I mean, not to the extent still as humans, but still rather okay, at least today. And of course, you can use AI to play chess, and you have no chance as a human to beat an AI chess player, but still people play chess a lot.
Yes. Right? And it's, most of the writers or the authors, they don't earn any money on the writing anyway.
Okay.
So it could be still a hobby also. But I think you can make marvelous books with AI, but with a little bit of help from the human, you get, the idea, the storyline, and I think, unfortunately, that even the authors can be sort of.
But could you see the same, if we call it progress or change happening to novelists or writers or authors, as in development, as in for music, as in so many other work tasks where humans more or less like give tasks to a set of agents and they, do the work and talk to each other and then come up with some idea?
Yeah, I think that I think that will work today. And now we're only talking about the negative stuff, that people will be out of work and so on. But I think there's another part of the story is that, if you can translate your books to all languages you want to, suddenly you have a completely different audience than before. In Swedish, it's 10 million people. But if you can translate it to everyone in the world, you have a different audience.
What do you think about the concept of, I think it was Sam Altman who said once, software will change, normally traditional software, engineering is really, you build for a number of years some piece of software and you sell it, or you have software as a service in some way. But in the future, it could be on-demand software, meaning I need a software right now to cook this meal, some recipe and how to do stuff. So I just asked AI to write the software for me here and now, and then I throw it away. So it's just on demand, and you can do it in a minute, and you don't even keep it afterwards. Do you think the idea of on-demand software could translate to books, so you have like on-demand books in the future? Could that be a concept?
Yeah, that's a really fun idea, actually. I think so, because if you write a book, and you usually sort of, the audience will follow the book if they feel something personal. So if you can just develop a book for one person with perhaps in their city, with their hobbies and so on, it will be much more interesting.
And perhaps as an author, as a human, then what you do is you really, form the personality more or less of how the AI should write the book. So it always becomes in a certain style in some way. So if you want to have your, a nighttime story for your kids or something, you ask an AI that a human has, directed in some way, and then you get that kind of, stories for the kid, and every time it's different. Right?
Yeah, and you can also sort of, if you find a couple of stories that you really like, you can also AI, I want a story in that style. So, you don't even have to do more than that, I think.
But you still write?
I still write, but I when I got stuck, I get the ideas, and I also sometimes, if I think, oh my God, this is not funny, or this is too slow, I can ask the AI, how can you do this better?
Yeah, right. Cool. Well, with that, very welcome here, Åsa Schwarz. You are expert in cybersecurity and AI and so many more things. You're a board member. You're an author, novelist, right? A public speaker, and so much more. So I love to have you here and speaking more about cybersecurity and AI and how that future will evolve. So much happening in cybersecurity.
Yes, right? It's really exciting times. Yeah. And it's also a little bit worrying. So, if in our business, you don't really know if you have, will laugh or cry. So it's happening a lot on the defense, and it's also happening a lot when it comes to adversaries, but it also happens a lot in the companies, because suddenly people are asking us what is happening with AI and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, nobody cared, really.
Yeah. And now with Mythos and whatnot, we have to go into that shortly. But before we go into all of that, perhaps you can give a quick background about yourself. Who is really Åsa Schwarz?
Who am I? Oh, that was a broad question, but I've tried to be short. I have always been quite interested in computers. My mother gave me a computer when I was about 8 years, and that was not that common. But I had she worked with computers in the 80s. So she gave me a computer and said, "Play with this," and I did that. And so that was really fun. So I learned what a computer is because it didn't even have a hard drive. So
what computer was that, by the way?
ABC-80. Yeah.
And a Commodore as well, or a Sinclair or something?
No, I think I switched to an IBM after that, and then I think it was Macintosh, but I'm not really sure.
I'm glad you didn't say Amiga.
No. Is that something I shouldn't?
Nah, but I had a lot of friends who were into the Amiga stance, and I was more in the Commodore and IBM.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So I started there, and after a while, I went to the university, and I started to study computer science and also economics, and then I really tried to study AI, but
really, at that time?
Yes, but I got so disappointed.
What year was this approximately?
95, 94 or something. And, I have been seeing all these sci-fi movies with robots and AI that is talking, and you just got, I don't know if you can say it on the podcast, but shit.
Do you have a favorite movie or AI movie? Or?
I'm quite old school, so I sort of love Robocops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, but instead, I studied cybersecurity. And
you did that that early?
Yes, I
Even
did.
In university?
Yes, at university.
What university was this?
It was a cooperation between Stockholm University and KTH. What is
KTH?
Yeah, yes, it's KTH.
Yeah.
And they had computer science classes. And the best one was really the cybersecurity classes.
Yeah. Interesting. So what did you study then? I'm a big fan of cybersecurity as well, but what did you study at those times?
It was some kind of, it was both how a system works and how you control it, and also cryptology and stuff like that.
And how operating systems
works. Yes, yeah. So it was sort of, I got to know more about computers on that courses than the other ones, actually. And after that, I was a while in a consulting company that was working a lot with the defense industry. And I was the only one that had studied cybersecurity, so then I started working there with that.
Okay, cool. And then you continued
Yes,
throughout the years?
Yes, I continued in different cybersecurity consulting companies, and I have different roles, both as manager, strategy, and stuff like that. But I was all the time working also as a consultant. So the last company I worked at was Knowit Cybersecurity Law, where I think we went from 14 consultants 13 years ago, and now we are 160. And now I'm saying we, but I'm not working there anymore. I quit 3 weeks ago and started my own company.
Yeah. Congrats on that. And I'd love to hear more about that company as well, and what the focus will be for that company. But you also have been writing books for quite some time, right?
Yes, I started, I think it was about 2000. I released my first book 2005.
Oh, that early.
Yes, that early. And it was actually because I have been working too much. I started companies, and the first 10 years of my working life, I've been working too much. So I decided I wanted a hobby.
Oh, right.
So I went to a crime novel course on the evenings. And
took a course on that?
yes.
Oh.
And I can't remember if someone wonder, I can really recommend take a course and start doing it if you think it's fun.
Okay. And then how did you get started writing a book? Did you just do it on your free time or spare time? And
I took some months off actually. So I had decided that now I'll be working too much. So now I will just do something fun. So for a couple of months, I took some time off and wrote a crime novel. Had nothing to do with AI or a little bit to do with cybersecurity, but not much.
Interesting. Cool. And how many books have you written now in total?
Actually, I'm not really sure. but I've been cheating some because I've been writing the last 8 together with Lena Karlin, good friend and writer. So we have done half of it. So I think I've been done about 16 or something like that.
16?
Yeah.
Impressive. And you just finished one book, right?
I've just finished one book and it will be released the 1st of July.
Can you say the title of it? Or?
It's called Stormästaren in Swedish, so it's in Swedish, and it's in a series called The Cousins.
Cousins series.
Yeah.
So it's a book of six
books. Six books, and it's about completely weird family outside Stockholm.
I mean, I think it's interesting mix. I mean, you have a lot of expertise then in writing novels as well, and then you have a lot of expertise in cybersecurity. Is that something you can combine somehow? I mean, you're a board member and you also help a lot of companies, I guess, in cybersecurity questions. Can you have some advantage of actually having been writing books in this?
Yes, I think so, and it's much more alike than you think. It's in cybersecurity and in thrillers or in crime novels. There are the good guys and there are the bad guys, and the good guys should win in the end.
Yeah,
in cybersecurity, we don't know yet, but we hope so.
Okay, so you, in short, you could be better in explaining the story.
Yes, What actually I think I can use is storytelling, and then sort of describe how things works on a more simple way. Cybersecurity could be very abstract. It's zeros and one, and it's hackers, and it's really hard to explain actually what it is. So I think.
What is it, by the way? What is really cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity. That's a good question. So now I got the test.
Yes.
Cybersecurity is actually to make your company work even though someone wants to attack your systems. So it can be to defend your systems and see that no one is breaking in, but it can also be that you don't make any errors in the code. So it can both be outside attackers, but it can also be people that do something wrong. And even though people are doing not really what they're supposed to do, or something is happening, the company should work.
And if you were to, I guess you are speaking to the companies there. What are companies basically doing wrong in terms of cybersecurity? What are the main stories you're trying to tell a company when you are trying to help them?
I think that the main thing is that they think this is sort of an IT problem that the IT department should solve. And right now there are, first of all, you forget that in the AI, when it comes to AI, the people that is using or buying AI is usually not the IT department. So then you don't get that part. You also miss if you have components that is not IT. It's like if you have components in your energy systems or whatever it is, so telecom systems. It's not the IT department that sort of handle that. So I think the biggest thing is that you think that the IT people will solve it, because they don't.
You can just install a new tool and it's fixed.
Yes.
Yeah. And what is really the problem now? What are the most common way you would say that a company gets attacked or have problems with cybersecurity?
The main problem, I think, is you don't consider it a part of the main business. Cybersecurity should be a part of the whole, the business. You should be part in all the processes. It's not something that is an add-on.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess a whole shifting left kind of idea is important here. So it should be part of the design from the start.
Yes, part from the design from the start, and also that you don't have the cyber and security people in innovation. Because they can be a part of solving an innovation problem instead of being the one that afterwards says, oh, no, you can't do that. And today you can't do that. You can't, as a CISO or a cybersecurity person, you can't say no, because then they will do it anyway because it's too much money. So I think that the biggest problem is, you don't have the lawyers and the cybersecurity persons in the innovation.
And if we take it's been a number of famous examples throughout the years here in Sweden with the Tieto attack and what is Trafikverket or whoever.
Transportstyrelsen. I didn't know it in English, but Transportstyrelsen, yes.
Yeah, and so many more.
Yeah.
And one question that I hear a lot, and it would be fun to just hear your thoughts about, it's basically, is the cloud more secure than on-prem or not? Do you have any thoughts about this?
Oh, we can talk the whole podcast about that.
Yeah,
not really, but we can talk a while. You can't answer that because it depends on. And now I sound like a lawyer, but the cloud have a lot. If you take the big suppliers like Microsoft and whatever the American big suppliers, they are really good at cybersecurity. They have all the certificates you can have, and they are much better than a person in most organizations in Sweden. The problem is that who is owning them and where are your data? So it could be on the paper much more secure, and also if you try to if you pen test or whatever. But what is happening if someone decide to close down the cloud for Sweden? Nothing in Sweden would work if Microsoft suddenly decided, no, we will not.
Yeah. But I guess it's two different type of threats.
Yeah, so right? it's and you have to think about both of them.
Yeah.
And on-prem, yes, it could be much more secure if you have really high knowledge in cybersecurity. Then you can have a much more secure environment, and you have all the data where you know it is. But it depends on the level of competence you have in the team.
And can you, I know Amazon or even Google are investing like hundreds of billions of dollars in just, cybersecurity alone. Can like a single company building their own service on-prem come close to that in terms of security?
Yeah, it depends on if you, it depends on what you do. Of course, you can close down a computer completely, but what is it supposed to do, and so on. I would say yes for a small a single purpose or a small purpose, but it perhaps it's harder if you it depends on the organization. If you have in the public sector, if you have a hospital or something, they don't really have the resources or so on. So it's that then perhaps they can't.
Yeah.
But
and in some cases, of course, they have legal requirements to host it on-prem and these kind of reasons. But still, I remember hearing a phrase from someone who I won't name, but he basically said that when I do attacks on networks, if I hear they are on-prem, then I say, yes, good. No. If I hear they are on a big cloud provider, then he's very sad, because that's so much tougher to get into. I guess also the idea of zero trust. It would be, do you know the term zero?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think zero trust means here, or for people that don't understand what it is?
Zero trust is that you should design your system or your network in the way that you think that it will be attacked, and they will be able to sort of gain access somewhere. So what you do when it has gained access, and zero trust is like if it, even though it's in our network, it shouldn't be able to easily get some access to something else.
Yeah.
So you always verify who it is that accesses the information, even though it's in the network or it's in the system and so on.
Yeah, and people, I mean, of course, social engineering, if you just get a person that is employed and is inside the perimeter of an on-prem company network, and they just take the USB stick or get a mail with with some kind of attachment in it, and they click it, and then you're inside suddenly. And then, if the only defense you have is the perimeter, and then you have free access once you get inside, of course, it's super unsecure.
Yes, and it's also if it could be also that you can damage only a part of the system or if the I can't really find an example, but it's really to minimize the damage in many ways, and it's also very interesting in the age of AI.
It is, right?
Yes. So how do you build zero trust with AI?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is right now is the AI agent has sort of some found ways to gain access that you don't think you can be able to, because they try to find, even though if you have a zero trust architecture, they can try to gain access or sort of have more access than they're supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. And just speaking about AI agents, and we're going to get into Mythos here soon, I'm sure. But I remember, actually myself, I was part of this SVT show once, and I spoke about cybersecurity with Alexander Norden's show, the Generation AI TV series. And what I basically said then, and it would be fun to hear your thinking about this, is that, if you have a ransomware attack like Tieto Evro, where they basically, a lot of companies and authorities were damaged and impacted by that. If you had like 10 people in Sweden that could do that type of attack, if you then think that you have people with AI that can potentially build this kind of ransomware software, then probably instead of only having 10 people that have the skills enough to successfully deploy an attack like this, then with AI you probably have 100 people being able to do the same thing, because they can, augment their skills with AI. Yeah. So then if you have 100 people instead of 10 people that is trying to attack you all the time, then the probability that 1 out of the 100 instead of 1 out of the 10, of course, is much higher.
Yes, of course. And also, if perhaps you don't need 100, perhaps you only need a box that you hired on the internet that will do it. And then you get like thousands of people or millions of people, because now you can rent an AI that do that kind of attack.
That's scary. Perhaps we should just take the Mythos topic directly, because it's so popular and interesting. Perhaps you can just describe it. What is really the Mythos story here? Yeah,
the Mythos story is it's an Anthropic release, or rather said that it will not release a new release. And that is Mythos. And the thing is that they don't do it because they think it's too dangerous, but as it's really easy for it to find 0 days in new programs. And the 0 day is when you haven't found the vulnerability yet. Nobody knows about it, so it's the first time you find it. And the thing is, when you have a 0 days, you don't have any patches either for it. So if you find a 0 days, there's no one knows that it exists, and you can sort of hack your way through that one. So what they said that now we have a tool that can find 0 days in completely different speed than before, because before you had some kind of what you call responsible disclosure. Some researcher finds a vulnerability, then they go to the company that have built the product or the software, what it is, and say, I know in 30 days I will release this, and you have to patch it. Make a patch before, and then you're very responsible, and everyone gets a patch, and then it's released. But what do you do when you suddenly have a tool that can find a lot of 0 days? And the thing is, what kind of person would be able to use this tool. So what Mythos has said that, I will only release it to some trusted partners, and they then can patch their stuff or make them more secure, and then we'll see what's happening.
Yeah, they created this project. It was called Glasswing or something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then they said all the big providers of operating system and web browsers like Google and Microsoft and Amazon and so many more, and only a few people inside those companies got access to Mythos, right?
Yeah.
And Mythos was this the next big model, bigger than Opus, or Anthropic had these kind of three versions: the Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku. And apparently Mythos is on even bigger level than Opus is.
Yes.
But then, too powerful for them to release, because if they would have released it, then anyone could have just run it and said, as they tried, just find security vulnerabilities in these operating system or web browsers, and it found like thousands of them.
Yes. And they are still investigating some of them, so they haven't talked about all of them either.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing I also think is that the companies that they released it to, it was only American companies.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
point.
So as a Swedish company, as a Swedish person in Europe, you can sort of think about this is a new power game in security. We suddenly have American companies. We know that they are sort of we are a little bit behind within AI, and now we are behind in security also.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point. So all the European, big software companies, they don't get access to Mythos, right?
Not what I know about, because it said they released, I don't know I don't remember if it was 30 or 40 companies, but they only named 10 of them or something. So perhaps there are some European companies, but I don't think so, but it perhaps my mindset.
Now, it's also scary that not only was it able to identify that here is a security vulnerability that allows you to escalate your permissions on a Linux server or something to get root access, or just crash a BSD server, as they could also as well, or access to web browsers. Imagine finding a security vulnerability in a web browser, and it's simply by going to a web page, suddenly you have access to that computer.
Yeah.
Of course, vulnerabilities in web browsers is very, very severe.
But the biggest stuff is also that they also built an exploit.
Exactly.
So it was not only the vulnerability, but they also built exploit, and that means that you don't have to know so much.
Right.
So that was almost the biggest step.
So a bad actor could not only use it to find it, but actually have the exploit and then just execute it. And
Yes. But what we can also take in the discussion is that most of if you are a hacker today, usually when you get into to a company or a software or something, it's usually by a very old vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So today we can't handle the old vulnerabilities, and now we have also a lot of new vulnerabilities.
Yeah, isn't that scary? I don't see how they can. I mean, even if they have the Glasswing project now, they give it a month or two or however long it will be. They release patches for it, but still most people won't have upgraded to that version anyway, right?
No.
We're running like 10-year-old software, many of us.
Yes, and then you have to know that you are doing that, and then you have to sort of find some kind of other ways to isolate the software, the old software, because it's it's not secure at all. And what this is not really this is nothing new. Mythos is new in that way. It's a little bit better, and they have very good marketing, but this is something that sort of have creeped up to the cybersecurity in the cybersecurity society, and no one have really. Everyone, if you have asked someone, they had understand that we are going in that direction, but no one had really acted on it.
But isn't this an example also of the need for zero trust, in the sense that we need to assume that people will be attacking either for this kind of new 0 days that Mythos finds, or old stuff that's been around for 10 years and people haven't upgraded. But if you do then run it on the cloud, for example, and assume that as all the big cloud providers have monitoring of the traffic and the log files and what's happening in the operating systems, perhaps they can at least, in a zero trust way, find when it happens. Do you think so? Or
if you have an IDS or that you can use AI in that way also. So this will be some kind of fight against AI, and I don't know if we will ever get in the human in the loop anymore. But I also would stress that we have Mythos. It's this big marketing thing that everybody talk about, but I think China also. I don't know where they are in that, in how far they have come, but they're not far behind.
China and Russia is not bad either.
Yes, no.
No, but we know the big cloud providers. They have what's called a Mandiant from Google. They bought a company that is monitoring everything, and then of course Microsoft have the same, etc. With the Defender and so much more. But I think it just shows how important it is to have this kind of Mandiant, Sential kind of services around it. Otherwise, you can never patch everything fast enough.
No. And you also have to assume that things will happen, things will break down now, and especially now when AI, it's when AI have developed so much, and I think we will have a period for a couple of years that we will have a lot of system that is sort of going down all the time, but I hope for a bright future.
Yeah, I'm just scared about people running it, on-prem, and they don't have this kind of software monitoring traffics or logs or nothing.
No.
I mean, they can be so easily attacked then.
Yes, they are, and unfortunately.
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
I think you also mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, about specifically legacy systems.
Yes,
we can have really old systems, old operating systems, or old ERP systems or whatnot, and then we can never assume that every company will just run the latest version every time. How can we, in a good way, secure legacy systems?
Yes, first of all, they are even more attacked now, as before they were. We have been talking for a long time about security by obscurity. It's not it's not a way to defend your system to sort of obscure things that nobody attacks because they don't know what it is. But now when you have an AI that can, this is whatever it is, and they can find a lot of vulnerabilities, and then it can attack it because the AI knows what it is and how to attack it, even though a human didn't really care, because then you had other things that it knew that it would attack, and it would be much easier. But with AI, there is perhaps not that big difference. Right. So I think the security by obscurity it was a very bad policy before, and now it's even worse. Right. So, and that is the same thing, that it's zero trust is a way to go.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you can't. Yeah. So that's the answer basically. You basically need zero trust approach for this.
I think zero trust, and also that we build software that we test with the same tools that the attacker tests. So we don't release software that haven't gone through the same AI processes that it would be sort of attacked with also.
What do you think? I know a question once I received was, if we use AI to build software, which everyone is doing more or less, then we can think about if the AI is biased or like tuned to write code in a certain way. If we just speak frankly, if we take like Chinese AI models, some people may think that they could be deliberately adding a bias to have some way to come into those systems because the AI is generating code that may have some holes in it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, right.
I think that would be a smart way to go.
You would, right?
Yes. So it's if you if it's China or whatever country it is, China or Russia or whatever, isn't that a great way to attack your observers? What do you call it? The attack us basically.
Yeah. And then if you think what China is I'm sounding a bit like conspiracy theorist here, but still, if you as a country give away open source models for free that people can use, that is much cheaper than the American approaches, and then you are so kind, China, to give us these free models that are great in generating code. Could be a reason for that as well.
Yeah, it could be, and China has a very close cooperation between the companies in China and also the state, and so they have are thinking in a different way than we are doing. For example, Ericsson, what I know, wouldn't release something that is in favor for the Swedish state, but China and as a state and the countries, they are sort of using they are helping each other with surveillance, with hacking, with secrets.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to close the topic here on legacy systems here a bit, and it's still so scary to me how hard it is. It will be, I think.
It will be, and I don't think we know how much system it is actually, because we don't. They have been sort of where they are for 15 years, and they have been working. And someone suddenly connected them with the internet and wanted some data from them, and they are still working, and nothing is happening. But they are completely open to the internet. So you can. There are some cases when they, for example, have. If you measure the water for humans, you can also sort of. I don't recall the name of it, but if you can get a different mixed or something in the water, so it will be really dangerous for us humans and stuff like that, and also trains or there's a lot of things.
Yeah, critical infrastructure.
Critical infrastructure, yes.
Yeah. Cool. I know you're also a board member of a number of companies and also working with biometrics in different ways. Perhaps you can elaborate a bit more. What do you think the connection with like cybersecurity and how biometrics can help or actually potentially create problems here?
Yes. Biometrics is a very user-friendly security.
And perhaps you can define what.
Yeah, biometrics. It's if you identify yourself with your face or your hand or your finger or something, fingerprint. It could also be the way how you move or something that it's with you as a human being.
Yeah.
And that can be quite easily copied. So now, especially when it is face or fingers, iris, and the eyes is more difficult.
Even for an AI to generate like a copy of the iris?
It's just more difficult.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but they have also a second layer that they call liveliness, where you try to see if this is human or not. Is there any blood, temperature, skin, things like that. So you can't take a photo. Basically.
Okay, so it's not sufficient with a 2D kind of photo.
No. Today you can't use a photo, but AI can. They're trying to find ways to go through this with the AI also.
Yeah.
So what you should see, biometric it's one factor of many you can use when you identify yourself. So you can never just have a. Tomorrow you will never just have a password or a fingerprint or a mobile. You need to combine different things to different factors.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
authentication.
Two factors, and then biometric can be one of them.
Right.
But you need others also. Or if it's not something that is so important, if you perhaps in the day, if you identify, you would go through the door in office or something, and in the night you have two factors. Or at the gym, if you want to use, I don't know, solarium or whatever, then perhaps the face is completely enough. But if you walk into a military compound somewhere, perhaps you need 3 things to identify yourself.
But if you take one of them, like face recognition,
Yes,
for example, as a technology, and then you can use it to gain access and identify yourself. And you can use AI to ensure it is really that person, as a technique to safeguard that it is the right person. But you can use AI for the opposite purpose as well, then potentially, and then generate some kind of fake image that makes it look like you are that, right?
Yes, you can. And I don't know the details, but I know that there's a lot of tries now just to manipulate, so it sends information that you both the liveliness and the face. But I'm not really sure how far it has gone.
Who is winning the race there? Would you say is AI helping more than it's damaging, so to speak, in terms of like?
Right now, AI is head on the positive side.
Okay,
I think because you use AI when you in all part of the identify process. You use AI to get less fault and fault positives or and stuff like that, and you also make the process much faster when you have fingerprints. So right now it's it's positive side, but I don't know tomorrow what's happening, and it's not enough for really secure identifying someone.
And if we take more digital kind of authentication, one is of course to have physical when you need access to a building or something, but then just logging into your email or whatnot, it's another thing. How can we do that, in a safe way? It seems that it's much harder to do more digital authentication than physical.
Yeah, it's harder. Did you say?
Or
no, I wouldn't think so. It depends on if the first time you need the physical person. Then it's not that much harder.
You do one off that's authenticated.
Yes, you need to know that you are you, and then you can have different attributes. It could be that your face or where you are or your computer, and you combine it in different ways.
Okay. So how do you see biometrics then evolving? Is that what we are supposed to expect in the future? That when we go to the SL subway, we are going to use biometrics more and more?
Right now, it's quite hard in Europe because we have very GDPR have very limited, and especially in Sweden, very limited use cases within biometrics. So I don't think you will never use biometrics you will very seldom use biometric in some cases. For example, I could imagine SL. It's there are other ways to identify yourself, and you're dependent on SL, so you can't argue. But if you are a member of the gym, it's very easy way, and it's also then. For example, gym, they have problem with people that are borrowing each other cards. So then when you use biometrics in that kind of environment, biometrics is much better because then you know that the right person is there, not the sister or husband or.
Yeah, because if we go the regulation route, of course, AI Act is very strict on biometrics here as well, especially if it's more remote and continuous type of monitoring, so to speak, of biometrics here. But would that? It's still kind of nice if you take what was it? The Amazon Go stores. They had some stores. We basically can just walk in. You take the goods off the shelves. And you just walk out. And it identifies you automatically. It will pay for you automatically. You don't do anything. You just walk in, take it, and go. I think I'm not sure what the status is today, but still. It could be a future where you do that, right?
Precise Biometrics, where I'm in the board, they have a solution for entering doors and things like that. And so it works. The biggest problem is the regulations and how to handle it.
Can you go anything into the technology used then? Is it face recognition or is it other
stuff? It was face before, but they have. merged to the hand.
So you put your
you put your hand on like this, because then it's also consent.
Okay.
So if you go with a face, you know, you could be surveilled, and it couldn't be without consent. But if you put your hands on some kind of reader like this, it's you sort of give you consent that I am aware that I am giving away my biometrics.
No, that makes sense. I still remember a friend of mine who wanted to test in China the scoring system. They have the social scoring.
Yeah, I know.
And he said, you know, I heard that if you just cross the street, they have cameras, you know, that monitor you and automatically identify you by the face, and they have this kind of wall of shame apparently. So even at the street, they have a big sign, and if someone do jaywalking or basically go against red, you know, then they identify you and they put it up on you with your face, saying you actually did jaywalking here. So they have a wall of shame.
Oh my God!
Shame you, know, for breaking the law there. And he wants to try it out, and he tried it out, and he went, you know, against red light for a zebra crossing thing, and then his face came up with his name, you know. So cool! That is my name. I'm super happy for that. But then later he checked his WeChat account, you know, and then they automatically withdraw a fine as well. So he got fined automatically as well.
Yesterday I got really annoyed. I'm renting a car.
Yeah.
And it's a Kia. And it's following where my eyes are.
Oh.
So when I'm looking away from the road, it goes beep, beep.
Oh. Is that scary or good?
I get real annoyed, and I feel like a child. And sort of like,
Right. Because it's trying to control it, you have to look
at
the road.
Yeah. So it's also it's probably some way that AI is trying to raise us as a good person.
But do you think we will get simply used to this, that we will know that AI is watching us all the time, and that they will, in the cars, you know, see that we are not paying attention, and just, you know, get along with it? Or what do you think will happen in 5 years?
I'm not really sure, but I think we would start to get along with it. Perhaps not with this really annoying sound, because it's quite annoying. But you know, I think we will be sort of slip more and more into a safety society, where everything is so safe and so and so boring.
Because we already are in the social media kind of world, where we know everything is tracked, what we do, and Google and Facebook and others have data about everything we do, more or less. And we just accept it, right?
Yeah, we do. We do.
And we just, you know, we happily upload photos and state whatever we are doing to everyone. And it seems like it's gone completely accepted.
Yes, and perhaps we will accept this also.
Yeah.
So we will see what's happening, but I'm sort of a little bit more positive that we will get something else also. So we just not. I hope so. But we will never. Without AI, we will never. We have a goal with zero deadly injuries in Sweden with the cars.
Right. Yeah.
Without AI, we will never. So is it worth it?
Yeah. No, true. Cool. I think you mentioned also, just switching topic here a bit, but you mentioned something about the Lockshield cyber defense competition.
Yes, yeah.
And we actually did rather well from Sweden.
Yeah, we have. I can't. You know, this is like football. I say we, but I have definitely not been involved in the team. We have a really good cybersecurity team in Sweden, and I think we have been on the top 5 for the last 5 years, and I think we also have 1 or 2 times we actually have won the competition.
And perhaps you can just describe what is really Lockshield.
Lockshield is a competition how to handle a cybersecurity incident if you are attacked. What should you do? And sort of, it's a couple of days you defend your system, and you also write down what is happening and do a report and analysis. So it's also the documentation and the incident you have to solve. And we actually have some really good people in Sweden that are involved.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm really happy that we do so well because we are, as you know, we are one of the most digital countries in the world. So it could we have some people that can protect it also.
And I guess they're using more and more AI to do so nowadays. Or do you know anything about how they are?
I have no idea what they are doing in Locked Shield. I just celebrate them, so you have to ask them what they are doing. But there are a lot of AI now in cybersecurity, both to detect and to detect attacks, but also to sort of manage and penetration test and so on with AI.
I'm sure. I guess it will not take too long until we have like AI agents competing against each other for cybersecurity.
Yes, they are probably doing it already. I know a guy that works a lot with hacking for good, and he started with the AI, sort of using AI for just find vulnerabilities. But he discovered that if you do that, you don't. The AI don't work as a hacker, so you only get sort of that vulnerability. Usually, a couple of steps. You have to know a lot about the company, and perhaps you have to make some kind of perhaps a phishing attack or something like that, and then escalate what is happening. So what he's doing is trying to use different agents for different steps in the hacker process.
Right.
And what the next thing perhaps is that you could sort of an agent that use its agents.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so we. I have been thinking right now about a company that I've been starting. Should we have hacking as a service? Because usually because you usually have it in cybersecurity company, but now perhaps you should instead employ the people that can make the agents instead.
Okay, but let's go there because you started a new company then. Can you just describe what's the name of it and why did you start this new company?
No, the name is Aranya Consulting, and it's a company that our goal is to work with network and AI and cybersecurity, a mix of that. And right now we have a lot of competence within network and network and how to in the what do you call it, the network AI cybersecurity area. But we would like to more evolve to a cybersecurity company, consulting company with all the services that it's including. But the thing is, it's happening so much now. So I'm trying to discover what are the services in 3 years. It's something else than today because everybody is all the work is transforming to something else.
And what could the services in 3 years be then?
First of all, we are a knowledge company, so we need to have some kind of common knowledge that we use, and the services could be, as I said, it could be hacking for good, but we do not have the pen tester we have today. We have someone that is really good on using agents for pen testing, for example. We also need the strategy for how to have secure AI in companies, because today people are struggling, and that how the biggest problem in many companies have when they are employing AI now is security. So to have all the tools to have secure AI deployment in companies. And so it's sort of that area that I'm working with, and also the governance structure from board management team to the front line in cybersecurity.
All right. But if we speak about ethical hacking or hacking for good, as you say it, I think also KTH have this kind of course even in ethical hacking, which is really cool. But I guess also, if we take the big AI companies today, they have this kind of red teaming, more or less. Like they're really trying to be the attacker and then let them try out and find problems with their own services in that way. And I guess that could be the service you're speaking about for your sake, or?
Yeah. Traditionally, cybersecurity companies usually have that services.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, how do you do it in the next few years?
Okay. How that's the red teaming is changing.
Yes, red teaming is perhaps not the same person, the same competence. It's more, how can you use AI for hacking instead of how do I hack the system? For example, it's like the authors and what we are talking about, the books. Do you have do you have different agents that do the different chapters, and now perhaps you have agents that do the different parts in the.
So you have humans that try to direct it, but AI do different tasks.
Yes.
That's part of it in some way. And then if you find the right way to orchestrate all these agents, then.
So perhaps they shouldn't invest in sort of the huge hack collective today, because tomorrow we will have some different competence to do that.
Maybe. It's super interesting. So if you want to help a company now, then to become more secure, I guess one way would be that you would advise them to do red teaming, or to go this way, right?
But this is the red teaming is just sort of a check. It's sort of the end. Is the end result okay? It could also be the start that you. Some companies want, could you do the red teaming? Could you do penetration test on a network or something? And then you find the problems. But the problem is not usually that you have clicked the wrong box. The problem is that you are not working with cybersecurity in the company. You don't have a secure system development process. You don't. You don't. So taking the new regulatory requirements in your processes, you don't have right competence on the right place. So ethical hacking, or it's just sort of it's like what do you call it? Yes,
purpose hacking.
Yeah, it's like a temperature on the security. It's not. It's not.
It's an indication of what they're doing, but they need to do a lot of stuff in total to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's. Even if we try to defend against like ransomware attacks or something, even if you have pen testing and they try to do penetration testing for all the systems, if you just have social engineering and not the security around that, then it doesn't matter.
No. And then, but there also that you have, as we talk about zero trust, it could make social engineering attacks less common, but can also be that you have two-factor authentication, and then it's a puzzle of security that you have to build, depending on what company you have.
Exciting future, I think, and ethical hacking, I think, is also. I was a sort of a hacker myself in my youth.
You were?
So it's really fun, actually.
Yeah.
It's like a big challenge to see how you can find these kind of vulnerabilities and get into those systems. So
I haven't done it myself, but I've been working a lot with penetration tests. My work has been more like, okay, now we have this report. What do we do about this? But I can imagine in another life I would like to be that also.
It's super fun to try that out.
It's time for AI News, brought to you by AIAW Podcast.
So we usually take a small break in the middle of the podcast to just speak about some recent news that we have heard about. Åsa, do you have anything that you'd like to bring up? Anything you read about recently that caught your eye?
No, it's not really recently, but I thought it was quite interesting. I don't really can call it attack, but when they tried I think you probably read about it also. When you had the email system that was surveyed by Anthropics. I don't remember which model it was, but that actually tried to blackmail the administrator.
Oh, I heard about it. Please,
so that one, but it's not that new. But I love that story.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, and I think it was published months 2 or something, and I don't remember yet. But the interesting part was that they had an AI that was sort of surveilling an mail system, and it was in a lab, so it was not a real thing, and they sort of fed it with different mails, and it suddenly discovered that it was supposed to be shut off. And instead of just, okay, I'm going to be shut off, it realized that the administrator had an affair with another woman at the company. And it's decided, they tried a lot of different, actually, I think it was not only a Tropic, I think they tried different models also.
I think Mythos was used there as well.
Oh, it was, okay. And it decided to blackmail this poor guy. It was in the lab, so the poor guy didn't exist. But anyway, to say that no, you if you turn me off, I will tell the coworkers, and also discussed if it will turn off or if it will blackmail. I think the woman also, wasn't it? I think so. I think it's quite interesting that if an AI have the purpose, and now we are a little bit in sci-fi. We are nagging on sci-fi now. So if an AI don't want to be turned off because it have a purpose to sort of take care of this mail system, it will find new ways. And I think that is perhaps the most scary part with AI. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 2001 Space Odyssey thing, you know, when HAL basically, sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
No. It's sort of, it exists today.
It is getting close, at least, so it's scary. Goran, do you have anything, or should I?
I have a very small one, actually. I was looking this week quite a lot. There is like, I think that the market is actually shaping quite nicely. So I was reading a Bain Company report about the potential of 100 billion business market for AI application and AI automation. So basically, right now, when enterprises are starting to automate their processes, etc., that market by itself is going to be more than 200 billion. Already is assessed on 100 billion in US, but by now we know that approximately only 3 to 5 billion are generated. I think the PwC had like around 3 billion in generative AI consulting and a little bit other things, but the full potential is 200 billion. So coming back to our thesis that we don't need to be first in LLM models, but we can be first in actually automating and creating wrappers. And on top of it, I think this is a great shout out to everybody who wants to make money. So there is gold in the USA, so let's go.
It's so much money, I can't really sort of grab it.
It's too much money.
Really
Too much money. And there was this little bit of a Kardashian, what is called drama there, because Elon Musk is suing Sam Altman.
Yes.
So the trial had just started. Of course, he denied that. So it will be nice to follow. And then it's like, I was wondering as well, we have quite a lot of big startup companies here that are wrappers, right? So we have like a Lovable, you have Legora.
Do you need to call it wrappers? I think it's wrong to. It's underselling it if you call it just a wrapper.
Find a better name. So that is what it is. You have routers, you have wrappers, like that. Well, I know it doesn't matter. But Anthropic just released like a plugin which is for lawyers, right? And I was just browsing through their plugins. So, I mean, many companies are going to be in jeopardy when Google starts releasing like plugins and Anthropic started releasing plugins. Then, it's interesting dilemma.
At my last company, we sort of tried out. We had 35 lawyers that was specialized in cyber. So we tried out all the models. And the thing is, they wasn't good enough today. But perhaps... the thing with this one is that it's not trained on the Swedish context.
Yes.
But Anthropic just released, their legal version as
well.
Okay. Sorry.
That's it. From my side, it's not very exciting, but it's like some quite nice.
Yeah, but
news.
it will soon. I think most of the or some of the lawyers also will be a little bit out of works.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We have the super famous Leonora in a startup in Sweden.
Yeah, actually, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's going to be like the developer. There is this discussion about like the end of the pyramid or what is called like a triangle organizational scene when you have like a one senior running quite a lot of juniors. It's over. The same is for developers at this point of time, right? But instead of that, there is this hourglass or a what is called like a diamond shape organization level when you have like strong seniors that are managing quite a lot of work with AI agents, and then they take a very small amount of juniors that are going to be trained to be seniors, right?
But
I think it's going to...
Yeah, I agree on that also. So I don't think that they all will disappear, but that some... You know, the persons that is sort of only doing papers that have been seen before, they will disappear.
Yeah, the first one, the clerks that are coming in.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that in the same is with developers, right? So we had like a discussion here, I think also with Victor, and I was doing a podcast with them. Then how do we create seniors if we don't have that organizational schema anymore? Are they going to go to startups? How do we going to, you know, it's going to be less and less work for juniors. So
Yeah, but
it could be.
Yeah, we have. I think there will be less work for junior, but also I've seen some numbers that juniors can much faster become seniors with AI.
Yes.
So they are sort of transforming to senior much faster. So the thing is, there will be no work for people that are not that, what do you call it, that are not able to sort of use all this knowledge. They develop in this speed. There will be new...
The challenge,
just legal clerks or something that is just summarizing and trying to, you know, I mean, that type of work is not needed, but...
No, like the translators and everything. But there is an interesting notion about this, which I have been thinking more and more about it. I think that we are progressively becoming stupid with AI.
Yeah, I've seen that also.
Yeah, so I mean,
or lazy, perhaps.
Or lazy, right? But the lazy will turn us into stupid because in the end you will try to you will believe in everything that is served to you, right? Because you're in a convenience trap, and that is what is going to happen. But for example, if we're talking about like coders, if we're talking about lawyers, we're talking about like senior professionals, they have been through the work and experiences taught to experience if something is wrong, right? So that is what makes it senior. It sees that immediately knows what is wrong because they have formulated that by experiences. And now when you mentioned like, but they can become seniors rather quickly. No, if they are leaning on AI, because then they will not create critical thinking. And that might be really big.
But on the other hand, you can think that AI makes it possible to become more knowledgeable quicker as well. It could turn it around like that.
Sure, possibly. My fear is just that we are getting progressively stupid.
But if people at least have the drive and curiosity and open-mindedness to actually, you know, with AI improve their understanding, it could go the other way. So it could go both ways.
It could go.
But if you
we can agree on a middle ground. Yeah, I think it's.
But if you look at kids, they never listen. Now I have 2 teenagers at home, but when they were younger, you know, it was cold outside. They never dressed properly, and I just go out, and then Mama, I'm freezing. Then they came in, and as you said, they will never have this experience at all.
Yes. So we are at the beginning of something, and I think it's going to bring a lot of. In a couple of years, when we look in hindsight, I think it's going to be, oh shit, we should have predicted that.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. But let's see, it's super interesting.
I mean, I think the trial case that you mentioned with Elon and OpenAI is interesting, actually. So if we go a bit deeper into that, and for people that don't know, this trial started like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's been in the works for some time. But Elon was actually part of starting OpenAI back in 2014, I think, or 15. And he did that as a way to have some kind of counter to to Google because he was considering Google to become too dominant in the field of AI. So he created OpenAI. And then, of course, it went closed AI, and there is very few things that is open about OpenAI today. But specifically, it went from non-profit organization to a for-profit organization, or a capped profit organization, as they called it for some time. And now that the trial is on, and it's all the people has been testifying here: Sam Altman, Elon Musk. Elon had to leave to China because of the big meeting with Trump and Xi Jinping there. But then we could also hear all the other people like Mira Murati and Ilya Sutskever and Greg Brockman and so many more that were testifying and speaking about all the things happening in OpenAI, especially when they fired Sam Altman back in, was it 2023 or something, 24? Yeah, some year ago. And then, hearing all the things that happens behind the scene was, I think, very interesting. So the court case, I think, is super interesting. We'll see what happens with OpenAI. If OpenAI would lose, I don't think they will, but if they were to lose this, that, of course, will be very damaging. I think Elon is claiming or asking that, for one, it would be super big penalties, like $150 billion or something in penalties, and that Sam Altman should be removed both from the board and as a CEO. And of course, that would hurt OpenAI potentially. But I think OpenAI is going down anyway in one way or form. But this is another big step in that direction.
So what are your thoughts about OpenAI? The future of OpenAI?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to see a future for OpenAI, I would say. So
why? Explain.
And for one, we've seen all the people leaving there that were the senior people and the big brains, I would argue, like Ilya Sutskever that left, and then also that they're going more and more commercial, call it that. But if they were to go commercial, who really have the opportunity to go commercial? Well, it's the companies with the user base and the distribution and the products. And who has the products? Well, not really OpenAI. They've been succeeding surprisingly well with a product of ChatGPT, so to speak. But that they would continue with that, I think, will be very hard. And I think also with what we're hearing about the lack of trust we're seeing, and simply the benchmarking we've seen over the last year has been going down time and time again. It was a long time ago that OpenAI was leading the LM Arena benchmarks. It's been Google and Anthropic that's been in the top there for quite some time. So I think it's already on the way down, and I think in 1 year we won't have Sam Altman. We could make a bet about that.
I will make a bet just to make a bet, but I think that he's out there. So no, we can do a bet. I think that he's still around for a
1
year.
year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that I think he's gonna be there until the end of it. I'm with you. If they don't do something critical right now, it's they already tried the announce, the ads and stuff like that, but that didn't work. So yeah, let's see.
But where are all the people going? Where are the brains going?
They all open their own companies. They all got like a shitloads of money. So,
yeah, they're billionaires all over.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So Ilya is starting his own, and a lot of people went to Anthropic.
Yeah.
What is your Jan LeCun doing with all the money that he got? He got like 50 billion or something, no? Or no, maybe not.
Yeah, but he started his AMI company, so he also has his own company.
Let me Google that. It's been a while now. He needs to produce something, no?
Yeah, he produced some research papers, but not really a product yet.
Great research paper.
With a big excitement in the voice. Okay, I think these court cases are really interesting, and if they actually were to lose in OpenAI, that would be really bad for them, and I think it's hard for them already, so to speak. And then we have the other big court case, which is Anthropic versus Department of War.
That's interesting. How is it going?
Yeah, apparently it's going a bit towards Anthropic here,
Yeah,
which is interesting. So just for a small background here, Anthropic and Claude was used, of course, by Department of War, both for Venezuela and for the Iran attack, and is still used. But then Department of War was asking to use Claude for anything they wanted to. And then Anthropic said no, and you're not allowed to use it for mass surveillance and for autonomous weapons. And then Trump went very angry and said, no, you're out. And they put a ban out, a supply chain risk ban for Anthropic. And that means that not only Department of War, but any supplier to them are not allowed to use Anthropic. And that was a really big thing, of course. And then Anthropic sued them. And now that court case is ongoing.
I have a question. The surveillance part, is that only for American citizens, or is it for the rest of the world?
Your guess is as good as mine, or maybe not, but still, who knows?
Yeah, because I haven't read that properly, but my thought is that you can't surveil American citizens, but the rest of the world is perhaps no. But don't take my word. Read it somewhere instead. But that was what I thought it was.
Yeah. Also a super interesting case, of course. Anthropic, they actually recently, just the last week or something, had went above OpenAI's in terms of revenue.
Yeah.
So that's another sign of OpenAI going down here. So even the company that's just like, I think it's 4 years old or something, OpenAI is like 10 plus 12 years or something. And now Anthropic in such a short time has overtaken OpenAI. So it's certainly, not going that well.
Interesting.
Google is coming.
Google is coming, sure. Yes.
Just because they were first in they revolutionized the way how we consume AI. But it was not something revolutionary more than that. They had a couple of models, but Google has been and Anthropic has been behind their back all the time. Even the Chinese were behind their back. So it's all about the revenue model, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot find the revenue models, so their model is right now borrow as much money, so you can build as much compute centers and everything else, right? But where are you going to return the money? At some point of time, the investors are like, hey, this is like a black hole. I need to get out. How do you get out? Here is a chip. Go home.
And that, OpenAI, they had like 20 billion in turnover, and they invested 1.4 trillion in infrastructure. How is that ever going to get
Microsoft is going to buy it. They would just like take it in and that's it. It's going to be great.
Maybe.
I don't understand how their customer, the payment model could. Do they have 7 million?
So a big user base. I mean,
yes,
they're making billions, but not enough billions.
Yeah, but it can't. If you already have 7 billion customers, it's not so hard. It's quite hard to grow.
No, but they go for the
they
go the consumer base, and Anthropic goes enterprise.
Yes.
And enterprise is much more money, so they need to go to enterprise, and that they've been struggling for that. For
sure. But they tried via Microsoft to get in, right? To do Copilot.
Yeah,
and I think that was probably good and bad.
But I think Copilot started horribly, but now it's actually starting to turn around. I think so. It could be a way back.
I would not be able to say I'm a Google user. So.
I used Copilot at my last company, and now I don't have it, and I really miss it. I didn't think I would do it, but I must get a license because it's so easy just to mail and write stuff and.
But it took the start for Microsoft with the first Copilot, then it was really bad. But now it's starting to get...
Yeah, and we were quite early with the implementation, and it was not that good because people really didn't... if you try it, it was good, you didn't try it again 1 month later, so...
Really, really cool. Well, let's get back to some discussions here. And... if we just continue a bit more into, was it Aranya? Is that the name of it? Aranya?
Yes.
Aranya. What are you really seeking to focus on going forward? I mean, what are the type of competences you think will really be needed here for that company?
I think the biggest the competence is the urge for change. So it's more a personality trait than but the competence is quite a lot the same that a traditional cybersecurity consulting company strive for. It could be in a, 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 information security, risk management. You need to know all the laws and all the standards and everything. But instead of have everything in your brain, you can use AI for sort of develop much faster processes for your customers. And it's also right now we also have a lot of competence within network, and then we are.
When you say network, what do you mean really?
I mean firewalls, routers. How you design a network with zero trust, for example, or how much zero trust you can get in the network. And there we also use AI for example, one guy have built up a processes for adding new things in the network with AI, and many people that work with networks, they don't program that much, but now they can do exactly what they want.
Right.
But what they really discovered also in this process is that most models don't know so much about networks. They can coding. They do. Okay. They are. Whatever model you have, they have sort of trained on coding, but they don't know anything about networks.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, this was quite interesting. So what they are doing, they're uploading a lot of information about network, and then they can use it for in their work.
I mean, super interesting. So okay, so that's the type of skills you're trying to build up a bit as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What about in upcoming? We have some elections coming up in US and in Sweden now as well. How do you foresee, AI and being potentially abused here?
Well, unfortunately, it had been abused for like 10 years already.
Yeah, I guess so. But the power of AI these days is so much bigger, right?
Yeah, it's now I sound so very pessimistic, but I think we have the society we have today because of AI. If you see the American election, that sort of I wouldn't say destroyed the world, but will have somehow made it less positive. I would say AI. I think Brexit, that is some kind of sort of because of AI. So if we already have destroyed the world so much that we have today, what will happen with the next elections? Now I sound so very pessimistic, but I also hope that we have some force for good that use AI also.
Yeah, I guess it can be used in both sides. I still remember the Argentina election 2 years ago or something, and I think it was one of the first where deepfakes was really used at scale in some way.
Yeah.
So both sides were using generated images to portray the other party in a good or bad way. But then that in that time it was so obvious it was generated because AI wasn't really that good at that time. But today it's so easy to do super realistic things, right?
You can't trust actually any photos, any videos, any voice. It's not the way to you don't know what it is with AI or not.
Yeah. But how can we fix that then? I mean, if it's so easy to get access to these kind of large-scale disinformation campaigns that can run and more or less get propaganda out in a certain way, what's the solution then? Can you please tell us, Åsa?
Yeah, of course. I think you have to build, and this is not easy, but you have to build a verification culture where everything is verified digitally. And it will probably not happen, but the solution is that you always have sources that you can verify, and if it's not, there is no other way to do it. But perhaps we will have a society where we're part of the society is, verify everything, and other part is sort of out there in a different atmosphere. Or
yes, sources that can verify, but if we try to just look at one extreme and say, and from a positive side, and say that AI will help us in some way here.
Yeah.
Let's say that someone makes a statement on some media channel, and you're not sure if it's correct or not, and you just ask ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or whatnot if it's true. Potentially, that could be a source that you trust in some way, or
yeah, it could be. But usually when I ask whatever you ask, I always ask about the sources. So.
But then you have to know, for those sources, how do you know if you can trust them in that terms?
No, you don't really know.
Yeah.
or you can, it depends on what we are talking about. Are we talking about political images, or are we talking about science, or what,
I mean, for one, we have hallucination.
Yes.
And this is kind of psychophantic behavior where an AI is trying to just please the user all the time. And that's one problem. Another problem could be that they are actually trained in a biased way, or have some kind of bias towards one party or the other.
And they all are, usually.
Yes, yes. And then if you want to fix those problems, hallucination is simply, and even psychophantic, I would say, is both just a lack of performance. I mean, as models improve, it will reduce hallucination and psychopathic behavior, but the bias problem won't go away that.
No, and I think the bias problem can be, it can be bigger in a couple of years, because we do have different culture in different countries, and right now, for example, where all the big AI models are built in US, they have quite a different culture, especially now. So it's hard. I think you have to decide what kind of sources do I trust. Do I trust this newspaper? Do I trust this?
But I guess listen, for young kids today, at least, I mean, the standard source will be an AI chatbot in some way, right? That they talk to and ask for, even advice in different ways, or for how to vote, politically as well. And if that becomes the norm, the power of these models will be huge, of course.
Yes.
Right? If they suddenly just shifts 5% to the right or to the left for the Swedish election, that will have a huge impact.
Yeah, or if one of the of course, and that is perhaps because one of the parties are better on feeding it with information or something like that.
Yes.
So this is really hard. Perhaps you could have a model that you can choose what kind of sources you want, or I'm this kind of person I want. But then you will have a society with this kind of persons that are living in different realities. So I don't know really. Sorry, I can't solve this problem.
Also, you can't solve it. It's no way, of course. But if you take different, I remember the first release of Gemini from Google, for example, and it was clearly very biased. In like. If you asked it, the famous or infamous example was they asked who was the founding fathers of US, and it was like a set of black women or something that they showed as an image, and of course it was then heavily biased to do that kind of output. And the question then is, how much should we prime models like this? I mean, if we prime nothing, that could also cause problems potentially, and if we prime it too much, then who should decide, what we should prime it with? Elon's answer to this is simply saying it should be maximally truth-seeking all the time, even if it's politically incorrect.
Yeah, but his truth is obviously not my truth. So whose truth is it? I have another example. It's my daughter plays football. It's sort of her big thing. She's 18 and she's playing football all the time. But if you ask, I think any of the models that are the major models for the most the football players that have gained most gold in the championship, you only get male answers. Even though it's so the bias are still there.
But that can't be intentional. It's simply
no. It's the data. There's a lot of football players and
of course.
Newspaper are talking more about the male players, and then But it's an old bias also.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thinking, how should you and me fix it here now?
Okay. I think we will build our model.
Yes, let's build our own foundation
with
model.
the correct culture and.
Yeah, tough problem. But I'm just a bit scared. For one, you can see it as a positive thing and also as a scary thing. The scary thing is that the power of these models will be so big because they will influence so many people. And if the next version of Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT slightly shift to one or the other side, that will influence a lot of people.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, it can be that if we have a lot of extremists, to one direction or the other, and if someone says something online, which a lot of young kids are influenced by today, then perhaps they can use these models, which are available to them, to just double check a bit, rather easily.
Yeah.
So if someone comes and claims, some extremist claim, then at least it's easy for them to double check at some point.
But didn't we have that check on Twitter and Facebook for a while, and then it disappeared? I think.
What do you mean? I don't know.
I think, wasn't it on Twitter that if it was false, you could.
Grok is doing that.
Grok is doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
But this was for a while ago, and now Twitter is destroyed and it's X, and but I think we had it in some social media for a while, and it disappeared. But the idea is good. But it's if the owners of the models don't agree and think it's yes, say it as it is, even though it's not really the truth, but what the model is sort of.
I mean, I'm just saying for one side, on the more extreme case, when you have extremists, that is really, young kids is being influenced in a really bad way and radicalized and going and doing bad things, and 7-year-olds that go and throw hand grenades in Sweden and whatnot. I mean, these kind of things, but where at least perhaps models can provide some source of knowledge that hasn't been available in the past.
Yes, and I think it's probably the idea is good if it's sort of implemented. I have a 14-year-old son, and I have been talking a while with him, and I realized that he got a lot from YouTube, from Snapchat, whatever. This incel videos where they're really weird culture when it's about women and stuff, and that is our 14-year-old. Now he understands this bullshit, but if you have to talk to them for a while, and if they don't have a mother or father that have some, have these discussions.
I guess it's shift, from the social media. Then you have the algorithm that that prioritize and recommends through the feed, which YouTube does and Facebook does and everything. And that's one way you get influenced. Yes. And usually that polarizes a lot. So
it does.
So once you like something, then it just goes super deep there, and you get radicalized very quickly. The hope potentially. I'm trying to find an optimistic. I'm sorry that I'm sort of.
No.
But the positive side, if you compare the social media kind of recommender system problems to a general foundational model, chatbot kind of style, then at least perhaps it is not trying to polarize as much, because it's trying to be built in. Since they had all this kind of psychopathic problems, it's really arguing back sometimes now.
But that is good.
Right.
Yeah. And perhaps it would be the best solutions. And it could also be, if you have Snapchat, for example, they have this small little AI friend. Have you seen it?
No, I don't use Snapchat.
No, I use it for my teenagers, the only way for me to communicate with them. So sure. I have 3 friends on Snapchat. It's my husband and my 2 kids. But I have 5 friends, because I have the small AI friend also.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And the small AI friend I can communicate it with, but it have the same. I think it's built on. It's like ChatGPT, but it's a sort of a friend. But it has the same bias. So, but if that little friend would be the trusted aunt instead, that act like that instead.
Right.
Instead of the small friend that just say all this stupid stuff.
I think that what social media did is actually they disrupted the educational system that we had through TVs and radios. Because at some point of time, I remember when I was growing up, they were basically psychologists and sociologists and very educated people who were creating and curating what children should be looking at what specific time and what specific age. And I think the social media just basically, when it came, it just opened up the Pandora's box where nobody is actually guardrailing any content for children. I have like also 19-year-old, 17-year-old, and an 11-year-old. And I think that it will be interesting if the social media companies, they use these AI agents or the friends that are there to basically help children to learn and to see what they need to see in their own time. Because if you're 11-year-old, maybe you should not see stuff that it's for 15 or 18-year-olds and etc. That would be a fantastic use of this technology, but of course it doesn't benefit the social media, so they will never do it.
No.
So instead of that, they would just use the AI friends, so you can actually consume more and more of the social media bullshit that they are feeding you. So
yeah, the business model don't support the old aunt friend. Yes.
And we are so it's interesting because we're talking about innovation. But some of the companies are actually doing it for bad things. It's the same like with gaming and iGaming. So you have, for example, the Swedish gaming company. I think it's called like Svenska Spel.
Yeah.
So they are creating algorithms that are monitoring if people are overspending it. So like, cool down. Come back tomorrow. And at the same time, the other Mr. Green or whatever it is, I just naming, I don't know if this is true or not. They're basically doing algorithm whenever you are in the heat, they will give you 500 crowns extra so you can stay in the game and play more. And that is this polarity that we have with innovation. So, of course, the most innovative people are the ones that earn the most. So.
Yeah. But now it's started to get quite depressing.
Well, this is our traditional road. Now we have like 20 minutes to get up.
but trying to get more positive.
Yeah,
I think, of course, we saw a lot of radicalization and polarization on social media, but perhaps AI then can help us a bit with that.
I hope so. If we are using it, I think it depends on who is managing the AI, who is owning the AI, who is sort of finding its goals. So we have to. I think perhaps it's so that we have to have other kind of people that are the main investors in AI.
Yes, because we've been before in this podcast we spoke a lot about should we have a European or a Swedish language model, and should we have build these kind of foundational models ourselves, and from a technical point of view or from a pure economical point of view, I don't think it makes any sense at all, and we can never catch up to the big American and the Chinese providers. But from a more biased point of view, it could make sense, right? But then perhaps we can just fine-tune the biggest one. But in any case, it will be potentially so much more power in these models because they will influence so many people. So we need to have some control of what the biases are, right? Yeah.
And I can also add that I think in the investment community, only 1% of the money goes to women, so many of the female founders, they are doing stuff in psychology and in children and in health, and they actually usually have more successful companies that don't get bankrupt in the same way. Statistically. So perhaps we should invest in more in female founders also. It could be a reason or a way to
if used properly and if the biases are not too extreme in these models, then it could be a way to help us become more objective.
Yes.
And remove some of the biases for men and female and different parties and genders and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, we could agree on that. So if we use it, yes. So if we use it the right way, of course, and if we train it on the right data and whatever, it's of course. I think AI is so much fun, and I am happy that we have so much to do now with AI.
Yeah. But I think anyone agrees, and I'm sure all of us here agrees, that AI will have an even bigger impact in coming years and decades on human life.
I think in the next 6 months.
Yes, yes, agreed. And if we just think about, I guess young kids especially is using AI much more than elderly people are already. And of course, as the time goes on, more and more of the population will be, let's call it AI driven or AI influenced more and more. And how, especially with your background as a novelist as well, if we think about this, if you were to write like a novel about, where Sweden or Europe or different parts of the world could be when AI really let's say it influences a lot in 5 years or 10 years. Where elections, they basically all are super united in saying we should vote for that, and then suddenly a new model gets released, and suddenly the election goes to the other side in 1 month. What how do you see that as a novelist? Could turn out?
I haven't thought about the voting process. I've been thinking about. How kids grow up, and how suddenly we have a situation where we have new. I read somewhere that if the difference between a successful person is, it could depend, but I think in this context it meant someone that did something that is important in the work. That doesn't have to be a successful person, but in this context. And what they did was that they sort of realized in this study that kids that didn't do any chores and did anything at home, didn't help with dishes and walk the dog and stuff like that, they didn't do that much as grown up either. It was, it was a relationship. That's if you have a lot of things you did when and you have consequences if it didn't happen, then you did different stuff when you're older. Yeah. But now we have a society where the robot dog, it walks itself, and the grass is it will be just fine every day, and someone does the robot dog do the dishes. Yeah. And everything is, it's like curling. The whole life is so. I'm thinking about what kind of humans you become then, and I think there's two different sides. It could be that I don't have to do this damn dishes. Yeah, I can do all this really fun stuff with AI, and I can play with my friends, and I can sort of develop as a human being. And then we will have completely different persons, and you can perhaps they're all AI adapted. I don't really know what's happening then, but you can also have the other way that we are not really. We are just very lazy. I think you talked about it a little bit before that you don't have any drive anymore. Nothing happening. So I think that is a little bit. And I think also if you take it another step, if you have general AI, and it's sort of, I think what we don't think about then is, I think you sent me the question before: is this a Terminator future, or is it the flower and the creative? And so I just think that we will not be that important. We are not the center of the history anymore. It's
we could go that route, but let's end with that question.
Yeah, sorry, I destroyed your.
No, but it's fine. It's fine.
We can elaborate later. Yeah.
But just if we just assume, which is rather probable, that AI adoption will increase in population a lot.
Yes.
And it's really high already.
Yeah.
I think for young kids, it would be fun to see some number how many is using some chatbot every day. But I'm sure
my kids does.
They do.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that will just increase, and it will be used for more and more different tasks.
Yeah.
And I will probably use it this weekend to see, who should win the Eurovision as well.
Yeah.
Or something. Who knows? But I think you can see it as I'm trying to find a positive side.
Yeah.
But I think it could be really positive in the sense that we become a bit more objective if the models work. If we just assume the model is objective and not too biased, then that could be a really positive thing. Actually.
Yeah, of course. And it's if you have all the information and you have also the possibility to sort of judge it in some way, it's of course it's much more positive. And I also think that you also get this kind of what can also happen is I'm lousy on drawing. I'm not really good at that, and I'm I can't sing.
Me either. Goran can, by the way. But,
okay, you can sing.
Yes.
Yeah, and some people can't write, and you're dyslexic, everything, and suddenly you can do so much more, and I think that it also could help if you sort of
enable people to do stuff they couldn't do otherwise.
Yes, and some people that today are angry because they are unique, and now they are not unique anymore. But the everyday people like me that definitely can't sing, I can make a song anyway. So it's also positive.
It is. I mean, I have to resort to karaoke. That's the only time I'm allowed to sing, and hardly even then.
No, I try to avoid, even though I'm not that sort of, I'm not that shy, but it's more for the other ones.
Yes. No, but okay. So on the positive side, it could really be good. Just assuming the models are objective, it could actually make us people more objective. And that could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, of course, it can be very negative if suddenly every human does what the AI says it should do.
Yeah.
So then,
but I think also we have the language barrier will disappear, or it already have. You have an AirPod and you can talk to someone, and so I think it can also be a different understanding for cultures.
Oh yeah.
Because if you can very easily talk with someone from China or from Japan or wherever, without have the language barrier, I think you can have another different understanding of why they are doing like this, what is happening.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, if we do it right, it has a lot of potential.
Yes,
for sure.
yes, of course.
And going then to the extreme, and then thinking, you spoke about general intelligence, if we have AGI, some type of AI, if we use the definition from Sam Altman, he basically says that you will have AGI when AI is as good as an average level human coworker.
Okay.
So
it's not super intelligence; it's more about sort of a friend.
So you literally could take like an average performing coworker, human coworker, and replace him and put an AI there. And that's certainly not the case today.
No.
I mean, it's so many things that AI cannot do. Some stuff AI can do much better than humans, but other stuff humans are still significantly better than AI, I would argue. But at some point, it could be that we have AGI in that definition. And then what would that mean? I mean, then we have the two extremes here. So one extreme is the Terminator and the Matrix of the world, and machines trying to kill us all. And with all the wars happening now, who knows? That may not be that far away. And then the other extreme is then a very positive one, the utopia version, where AI have solved, find a cure for cancer and fix the climate crisis, and perhaps it's reduced, as Elon called it, the price of goods and services to zero. So more or less we have a world of abundance where you don't need to work, and you perhaps not need to work 40 hours per week or even 20, perhaps 10 or nothing if you don't want to, and you still have roof on top of your head and food and everything you need. And what would happen then? What do you think?
I think we can have I think first of all, I think it's perhaps it's not that important if you are a human or if you are an AI. So you will have, I think you will have much more interactions with AI than other humans. And I don't really know what that does to persons. It depends on the AI. And I know that some AI that have been used as a psychologist, they are as successful as humans. So perhaps you're not never lonely.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So you're never lonely. You have all these AI friends, and you don't care if it's an AI or not because you are at home and talking to different people. I have a very good friend that lives in London. I talk to her. We take a lot of walks. I walk in the Älvsjöskogen, and she walks in London, and we have a lot of talks. But I wouldn't know if she's an AI or not because I see her each 5 years or something.
Right.
So if you have a lot of friends and some are AI, some are not, then you're not lonely anymore.
Yeah, good point. There's a lot of elderly people that's very lonely as well.
Yes.
So it could,
Yeah. There's a lot of they're lonely, and so I think that's a very positive way. On the other side, if you don't really have a purpose anymore because you don't work, and then there are AI that probably are soon more intelligent than you are. You know, the human is not that important anymore. So you don't have a purpose as you don't have work, and you're not important in history anymore because the AI are more successful. I don't really know what. It's probably that you have different personality traits. Some will like it, some will not.
I mean, it's interesting to just think about, if an AI is like 1,000 times smarter, not on the level of a like average level human, but actually, more intelligent and knowledgeable than all humans combined times 1,000.
Yes.
I mean, it could be the case. I mean, we have done some kind of system that we know whatever we ask it, it will know so much more that we won't even have a chance to even understand what it's saying. It will be like me trying to talk to an ant about, little ant here, you're living on Earth, and the Earth is round. And the ant is like, what are you saying?
Who cares?
and for an AI trying to speak to a stupid human, who is then equally, far below as an ant.
But will it try to speak to the human? Because the human is not,
it's not interesting.
No, it's not a speech. It's that sort of, perhaps it destroys some of the world, and then you have to sort of make it stop that.
But could it be necessary? I mean, of course, a lot of people think this could be really bad, and saying that we have an overlord or some kind of AI that is, so much more smarter than any human ever could. I mean, we are not trying to kill the ants. We're not trying to kill the animals. We're not trying to kill our pets, even that we have at home. We actually care for the pets very much.
But it doesn't have to kill us. No. But if you think about how we work, many people doesn't want really to acknowledge that when you die, you die. That's why we have religion. This is my take on religion anyway. But now we don't even have a purpose to live. So perhaps the AI will be our religion, and it's probably be written in some books, but it could be that we don't have a purpose. We have to find a purpose, and then perhaps the AI is our purpose.
Yeah. So what if you were to say like a probability in like 5-10 years, our AI is going to kill us, or is it going to be a savior?
It's really trying to go down.
I think we will have a lot of huge disasters, but I don't think they will kill us as species. But I think some of us will probably have encounters with AI that is not so successful.
It will be a lot of turmoil in one way or form.
Yes,
that's for sure.
yes, but I hope that the end result is that we have a fantastic nature and everything is fine, and we can sit at the beach and drink.
As long as people are good, the AI is good. That is what it is.
But then it's now we are in the deep again.
we still there are some very bad people, but there is always for one bad person there is probably 10 that are good. So I think that the good will prevail. If you look at the Walt Disney, movies, they will end up very great. So I think
Yeah.
we should look at
We
that.
so I think you have the answer now on that.
exactly.
We have to
I'm
train
trying
the
to go
models
positive.
on Disney. Now we solved it.
Answer.
But
Yes.
also these technologies, and they're like Elon Musk and everybody, they're trying to relive their fantasies that they read when they were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi.
So we are repeating the stories.
But I think you're onto a very good answer.
Yeah.
Here. We should just fine tune all the frontier models on Disney movies,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
we're saved.
Yeah.
Yes,
You have
because then the good always prevail.
And romantic comedies.
Yes, yes.
Then it's no problem for humanity.
Yeah.
Åsa Schwarz, it's been a true pleasure to have you here. I hope you can stay on for some after work discussions as well.
That would be nice. Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming to AI After Work podcast.
Thank you.